Now, as you all may be aware, NFLQ 2025 is part of NISM and SEBI's broader advocacy effort to strengthen financial literacy among young learners. The initiative is aimed at undergraduate as well as postgraduate students and is designed to spread awareness about financial markets, investor rights, and the role of market intermediaries. It seeks to empower students with the knowledge they need to make informed decisions as they step into the financial world. We are truly privileged to be joined today by our NISM director, Mr. Sashi Krishnan, and Mr. Vijayan Kumar Verma, CGM SEBI. They bring with them decades of rich experience in the capital markets. Their presence today is a source of encouragement for all our students. Thank you, sirs. We also have with us Professor Dr. P.B. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Gurugram. Welcome, sir. And Professor Dr. Anil Yadav, Deputy Dean Academics, Amity University. Welcome, sir. And we also have with us Dr. Shiv Swaroop, HOD, Amity College of Commerce from Amity University, Gurugram. Now, I would like to please invite our distinguished guests to kindly come on stage for lighting of the lamp to formally inaugurate today's program.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं
Would request our director, Mr. Sashi Krishnan, for the inaugural address, please.
Welcome to this National Financial Literacy Quiz, to this very beautiful green campus that we have here in Gurugram. And I'm particularly sort of thankful to Dr. Sharma and Dr. Anil Kumar for allowing us to use these beautiful premises. At NISM, our goal is primarily to equip the next generation with essential financial skills so that they can make informed financial decisions. And I think this is a very, very important life skill that everyone in today's world needs to acquire. And I think the National Financial Literacy Quiz is part of that effort that we have to, one, help all of you gain financial independence, because we do believe that with events like this, we will be able to empower, the young, the students of today, with financial knowledge and skills, that will sort of set them on the path to financial independence. The second is that by studying for such kind of events and quizzes, you will gain financial skills that I think, today, in today's world are very, very important, like skills like budgeting, skills like financial planning, skills like decision making, which in my opinion will become very, very important skills that all of you will need to have in the next couple of years when you start earning. But most importantly, I think, in course of time, one of the biggest problems that most of us face is financial stress. And I think we all need to build, the resilience to manage that financial stress, which I think is very, very important. And that is primarily the purpose of, having a National Financial Literacy Quiz. And I'm sure you're all going to enjoy it because we've got some great quizzing ahead. And we've got a wonderful quiz master who will sort of keep you engaged over the next 2 days. But I just wanted to sort of deviate from, some of these issues and talk to you about the fact that, most of the investment decisions that we make today and our entire relationship with money is primarily sort of determined by the life that we lead and the life experiences that we have. And therefore, it is very, very important that at this young age, we give you those life experiences that make you look at money and make you look at finance in a very, very different way than possibly how we used to look at money traditionally. So let me wind back to not even the day when I was born, but the day possibly when my father was born. My father was born into, I would say, a very traditional, Indian household in a very small village in Kerala. And with great difficulty, he managed in those days, you must remember, in the early 40s, pre-independence days, he managed to, study through to do a master's. And once he did his master's, the only options that were available to people in those days was to join the government, typically. So those were the only jobs. Even the banks really hadn't taken off. And unfortunately, he didn't get a job in the government. So what he then, chose to do was the next best thing that everybody in those days did, and that was to become a teacher. And that is no disrespect to all the teachers who are here in this room, your mentors who accompanied you. But he chose to become a teacher. And let me give you a little bit of context out here. This was pre-independence India, and it was an era where you had very, very high inflation. Today we talk about inflation of 5%, and we still get very worried about a 5% inflation. Those were the days when we had 12 to 15% inflation, right? We were literally living in an era of scarcity. There was a struggle for independence, and resources were very seriously constrained. And we had this socialist-inspired model. We all got used to living at what we used to call the Hindu rate of growth. Now, a lot of this may actually sound strange to people sitting in this room, most of the young generation. But that was exactly just about 100 years from now, or less than 100 years from now. This is exactly how India looked. And therefore, if you look at the kind of investment choices that my father made, they were shaped by the experiences that he had. And because they were shaped by these experiences, the only real asset that he actually had in his life was the house that he built. And I think that used to be a very, very big asset that people used to have. So, most of the money that you had would get diverted into buying this physical asset because, it not only gave you a sense of identity, but it also gave you a sense of security. And if he did have any money at the end of the month, from whatever he earned, he would put it into what we used to call the post office recurring deposits. So his entire financial knowledge was limited to, how do I put money to pay back my mortgage, and how do I put whatever little other money I have into, into a recurring deposit. And I think the first time that he ever invested into a equity mutual fund, and many of you already will be very familiar with mutual funds, was when I used to manage what was then called the Unit Scheme 64 and Master Shares. And why did he invest? He simply invested because I was the fund manager, and for no other reason. He didn't understand the first thing about mutual funds. But how did that shape the way I looked at money? And that's what actually sort of I've pondered many a time. Because dinner time conversations in those days was all about how do you protect your principal? How do you not lose money? Is investing into the financial markets speculative or not speculative? These were what the dinner time conversations were. And it shaped the way I thought. And believe me, though I worked in markets right from the 1980s through till today, a large part of what I, invested in, a large part of my entire portfolio used to be in fixed income assets in those days, till almost the year 2010. Till I realized that when I sat back and thought about it, that my entire thinking on this had been shaped by my own lived experiences. And it was time for me to sort of relook at this whole thing, because the world has changed and you really can't get stuck up, in a time warp where, your experienced life would determine how and what your relationship with money was. And therefore, as I keep thinking, you people actually today are in a very, very good place, because I don't think India is in a better place than ever before. And, there are a lot of things that are going for us today, right? For example, you guys are living in an era where, digitization has taken over and has become so much more easier to access financial markets. It's become so much more easier to access knowledge on, financial markets, which was something that we guys weren't so privileged to have. And therefore, I think it is time that you take advantage of the time and the era in which we are living in. India has never been in a better place before. We are one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The capital markets have really developed. The regulation in the capital market, especially with the Securities and Exchange Board, has made it a much, much safer place for all of you to sort of participate in the capital market. And therefore, I think what you will take back from events like this, from a national financial literacy quiz, and a lot of other education that we offer to, students and the general public, will be a better understanding of the financial markets and why it is needed for you. You do need to participate in financial markets to secure your own future. See, all the best, and have a great quiz, and best of luck to every one of you who is participating in this quiz. There will be some winners, there will be some losers. There will be a couple of you guys who will go into the finals. But I think everybody who is here in this room today, I'm sure, will take back something that will be of use to him, for the rest of his life. And thank you so much, and all the best.
Now I would request Mr. Vijayan Kumar Verma, TGM SEBI, to please address our students and faculty members.
Respected Director Sir, NISM, respected Vice Chancellor Sir, Amity University, Deputy Dean Mr. Yadav, Head of Department Commerce. It's really a very, very fruitful opportunity for me to come here to Amity University. And I was posted in the SEBI office or Northern Regional office for 6 years, and I was in charge of investor education and awareness. And I have traveled to all the places which you have come from, and gone to various universities, interacted with students like you. So coming to the format of the quiz, I mean, I've been told that some 48 students representing 24 colleges will be participating in the wonderful quiz throughout the day today. And let me tell you, rest of you are not anyway, should be disheartened, because you all are winners. You all are winners. Because this is something, as Sir said, the life skill which you are going to gain, or the foundation which you are going to get, and the courses which you are doing already. So these are the things which are going to pay you off, give you a handsome return in your life, in your career, in your professional journey. So let me emphasize again, all of you are winners, and you will not be, feeling regret, any regret that you came here. And thank you very much for taking time and coming to this far to participate in this quiz. So SEBI, you all must be knowing. I think most of you are the students of commerce and BFM, BMS. SEBI mandate is to protect the investors, to develop the markets and regulate the markets. So development of the markets is something internationally very securities market regulators are not mandated with. Development is left to the market participants, market authorities. But it was a conscious decision of the public, of the government and the parliament, to give this mandate to SEBI to develop the markets. Because we need a well-regulated market, well-developed market which is well-regulated. That was the mandate given by the parliament to when the SEBI was formed in 1992. And it is the mandate includes investor protection and investor education in the SEBI Act itself, right from the beginning when the SEBI Act was promulgated in 1992. The section 12F of the SEBI Act, if you see, it says that one of the primary objective of SEBI is to promote capacity building, as said, SEBI as Director Sir said, of training of the intermediaries and promote investor education. So we have been doing it in varieties of ways, in varieties of methods right from the beginning. And as market has changed, as the dynamics have changed, as the requirements have changed, we have also changed with the time. So, and the other mandate is the regulation and the investor protection. And regulation and investor protection go hand in hand. If anything is not regulated, how it will be protected? You are driving a car. If it is not regulated, if there is not RTO, if there is licensing requirement is not there, if the policing requirement is not there, if the enforcement requirements are not there, how the customers will be, how the people who are traveling on the road will be protected, isn't it? Today you see there is a lot of craze for crypto investing in the youth, but it is not regulated. One of the junior colleagues in my office, somebody told me that he invests in cryptos and he has stories of making handsome returns and all. But one of his friends only told me, sir, he has forget the password of one of his coins which he has invested. Now he doesn't, I mean, he some 10, 15 lakhs money was there and he cannot access that. That is the problem. Why? Because it is not regulated. So you don't have any access to the protection measure which any body like SEBI or regulator can provide you. Same goes true for many other things. All these gaming apps and all, बरसात होती है, देखो चारों तरफ हरियाली छा जाती है. उसी तरह ये जो जितने आपके गेमिंग एप्स है, सर इज फ्रॉम केरला. Kerala has more than 100% literacy, sir. But most of the lotteries are purchased and sold in Kerala. Why? And the reason lies that financial literacy is somewhere more than 70% in India, but the financial literacy is only at 27%. Financial literacy is something what sir rightly said, this is essential life skill for everybody. Now you see the government is emphasizing, interestingly, a product which is NPS, under NPS, right from the child when he is taking birth, the parents have to take care of his retirement. No, you invest from that early. So what is wrong? That we are going to the students community, colleges, NISM, SEBI, we are making efforts and telling you guys, because you have that advantage. Tomorrow you will be the leaders. Tomorrow you will be having careers, income. So you have to look at wealth creation for meeting various life goals in your career, in your life. And you have to look at the wealth creation for yourself. And wealth creation does not come from trading. Watching CNBC investment is not ball by ball commentary. It is a long-term process, a disciplined process. What you see in social media, return 10 इतने से इतना हो गया, इतना % आपको मिल जाएगा, A to B, A minus B, B minus A will be your return. But what about the journey between A and B? So financial investment is a long-term process, disciplined process. You have to follow that process. The responsible investing, something which we promote, we believe in, and that is the requirement of the country. That is the requirement of the economy, and that is also the requirement of most of us, every one of us. We need wealth creation in the long term. So the growth of economy, as sir said, we are the fastest growing economy in the world. We are now the fourth largest economy, around $4 trillion US, and in the market capitalization, we are the fourth largest, around 5.5 trillion, and this is around 140% of the GDP. So the development part, you see, market has grown like anything. In last 15 years, 10 years, market has given 15% return with a level of volatility. Volatility, you understand, up and down. So that is the volatility, it can be quantified. So with a very reasonable degree of volatility, markets have given historically in last decade or so around 15% return. So that kind of return is not going to come from anything in a well-regulated manner. So that is the essence, and the country needs, the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of the Viksit Bharat 2047. So we have to grow to a 50 trillion economy, 40 trillion economy, and immediately in 10 years, we are seeing ourselves at the level of 10 trillion. And for that, more than 6.5% rate of growth is required. 7-8% growth is required. And growth comes how? You need capital, money. It can come in the form of debt. It can come in the form of risk capital, that is equity. And we, day in, day out, we attend seminars, listen to the speeches of the financial leaders in Mumbai, that is the financial capital of India. So I heard the respected chairman of SBI say that for reaching that kind of growth and attaining that kind of growth and that kind of level of economy, we need some 1100 lakh crore rupees of capital in coming years. And banking sector can only provide 30-40% of it. So rest of the money is going to come from the capital market in the form of equity as well as debt, the corporate bond markets, the public issuances. And let me tell you, the corporate bond, the bond market, the bond issuances are much, much more higher, around 2-3 times higher than the equity capitalization which we enable to raise to the markets for the needs of corporates. So what I want to emphasize that your financial being, the wealth creation in your life is linked with the growth of the country and vice versa. So that is the very important thing you have to understand when we talk about the stock markets, investing, and that is the very important aspect you have to understand. And another thing which I will like to emphasize, that what you have created should not be destroyed. अभी हम दीप ज्योति कर रहे थे तो उसमें पंक्ति आ रही थी, दीप ज्योति आरोग्यम सुख संपदम, उसमें एक लाइन मिस हो रहा था, शत्रु बुद्धि विनाशम च। शत्रु बुद्धि विनाशम मतलब कोई शत्रु, बाहर का शत्रु आके हमारा विनाश नहीं करेगा, हमारी बुद्धि हमारा विनाश कर सकती है, our own wisdom. So that the light, the Saraswati Ma should give us that kind of blessing, that हमारी own बुद्धि which make us run towards, when we talk of stock market and investing, to options trading, to day trading, these are not for wealth creation. You can do, some thrill is required, some part of your money you can just, put and see how it is working. But we will say, we don't have money right now, we don't think of long term. But this is the sanskara, this is the habit which we want to inculcate in the youth of the country. That is why we are organizing such kind of events like NFLQ. And we are so glad to hear that we have received over 5 lakh registrations from the students all over the country. And there should be a big round of applause for the NISM, because NISM has been instrumental in promoting, and NISM is a very essential and very fruitful, very useful partner in SEBI's mission of spreading investor education and awareness. So, and this logo was designed, I think 3 years back. I was just asking somebody, and I will like to, in lighter vein, credit NISM for the vision, because it logo reminds me of the rage which is now the youth today, in today's days, youth of the country, that is सैयारा, isn't it? थोड़ा सा लग रहा है ना, सैयारा का थोड़ा आता है ना यार। सैयारा पर मैंने रिसर्च किया, मूवी नहीं देखी, बच्चों से पूछा, अपने असिस्टेंट मैनेजर से पूछा, भाई फाइनेंशियल डिसीजन मेकिंग में सैयारा से आपको क्या असर, क्या बात कर रहे हैं? बट बोला, उन्होंने मुझे व्हाट्सएप किया सुबह सुबह, सर ये जो पैशन है मनी मेकिंग के लिए, उसमें जर्नी में अप्स एंड डाउन आएगा, लेकिन हमें रेजिलिएंट रहना है। जब डाउन होगा तो हमें रेजिलिएंट होना है, अप्स होगा तो हमें हौसला नहीं खोना है, ज्यादा एक्सुबरेंट नहीं होना है, हमें अपना एक बैलेंस बना के चलना है। पैशन होना चाहिए, और पैशन के साथ डिसिप्लिन होनी चाहिए। और एक चीज और है, टैलेंट दोनों में था, दोनों राइज किए, प्लानिंग की जरूरत, क्योंकि बिना प्लानिंग के चलोगे और बिना एंटिसिपेट किए चलोगे कि रास्ते में क्या हिकअप्स आ सकते हैं, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इन फाइनेंशियल एजुकेशन पार्लेंस वी कॉल समथिंग risk awareness. You have to be aware of the risk. You can, when you are aware of the risk, you can manage it well. तो रिस्क तो हर चीज में, यहाँ बैठे छत गिर जाए, कुछ हो जाए, सड़क पर जा रहे, रिस्क। लाइफ इज फुल ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस itself is full of risk. We have how to die one day, but we have to manage risk on day to day basis. Who is the, in our according Hindu mythology, who is the best risk manager? Lord Shiva. नीलकंठ बोलते हैं उनको। जब विष निकला मंथन में से तो उन्होंने यहाँ धारण कर लिया, बोले भाई उगलूंगा तो संसार का विनाश हो जाएगा, ले लूंगा अंदर तो खुद खुद का विनाश हो जाएगा. So that is what we have to learn. That is what, as sir said, the essential life skill. And SEBI is there, mind you. Somebody told me in the morning that mutual fund सही है, कैंपेन से बहुत पैसा आया बहुत म्यूचुअल फंड में ग्रोथ हुआ है. 20 करोड़ से ज्यादा फोलियोज हैं, जो कभी 5 करोड़ ही हुआ करता था. और AUM कहाँ का कहाँ पहुंच गया, 75 लाख करोड़ AUM हो गया, जो भी बैंकिंग डिपॉजिट का लगभग 33% से भी ऊपर हो गया. बैंक्स आर थ्रेटेंड, RBI इज थ्रेटेंड. क्या होगा? पब्लिक विल पुट मनी ओनली इन म्यूचुअल फंड. अभी तो इंटरेस्ट रेट भी कम हो रहा है. बट इसके पीछे सेबी की बहुत कड़ी मेहनत है. राइट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग जब म्यूचुअल फंड रेगुलेशंस बना, प्राइवेट सेक्टर को अलाउ किया हमने, फिर हमने टाइम टू टाइम काफी रेगुलेशंस बनाए. और जो मैं सुपरविजन डिपार्टमेंट का वर्टिकल हेड था, हम लोग ऑलमोस्ट रियल टाइम बेसिस पर एक हमने ऐसे एल्गोरिदम्स बनाए हैं. आपके जैसे बच्चे हमारे यहाँ ऑफिसर्स बन के आते हैं, हम बाहर से आउटसोर्स नहीं करते एल्गोरिदम बनाने का काम. हमारे बच्चे ही हमें कोड बनाते हैं. एल्गोरिदम जो भी डेटा उसमें फीड होता है RTA से, ओपन API सिस्टम है, जो डेटा आता है उससे रेगुलेटरी जितने हमारे पैरामीटर्स है उसके लिए अलर्ट्स ऑलमोस्ट रियल टाइम बेसिस पर आते हैं, और उस पर ऑलमोस्ट रियल टाइम एक्शन बेसिस पर हम लोग एक्शन लेते हैं. All mutual funds are afraid, and there is a lot of reputational risk is involved. I issued a warning letter to a very reputed mutual fund, the biggest mutual fund, that is SBI mutual fund. They hurried to my office to meet me. Sir, why you are issuing a warning? Warning ही तो है, तो just warning है. It's administrative action, it is not enforcement action. सर, हमारे बोर्ड में हमारे खारा साहब SBI चेयरमैन है, वो वार्निंग लेटर को बहुत सीरियसली लगते हैं. मुझे 5 घंटा लग जाता है समझाने में. सर, आप वार्निंग मत दो, हमें एडवाइजरी दे दो, बोल दो सर, हमारा बिजनेस इतना बड़ा हो गया है, कहीं कहीं छोटा मोटा नॉन कंप्लायंस हो जाता है. सो आई मीन द पॉइंट आई वांट टू एम्फसाइज दैट द काइंड ऑफ fear or respect for the regulator which is there, from whom we try to protect you, this is incredible. That is incredible. And that is the reason so much money is flowing into the stock market, not only from the domestic investors, but also from the FPIs. And in fact, domestic investors like mutual fund, insurance bodies, they are putting more money. If you see the data, they are putting more money than the foreign investors, and they are counterbalancing. पहले FPI सीखता था, स्टॉक मार्केट गिर जाता है, अभी बिलियंस में बेचता है, कुछ नहीं होता है. खरीदने वाले बैठे हैं, कैश के ऊपर बैठे हुए म्यूचुअल फंड, इतना पैसा आ रहा है. वो गए दिन अंग्रेजों के, वो गए. अभी हमारी इकोनॉमी, हमारा यूथ, हमारा देश, और आप लोग फ्यूचर हो, प्रेजेंट हो. मैं इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन के लिए सब जगह जाता हूँ. इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट का भी मैं हेड था. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर पेशेंट शेयरिंग. और एज आई स्टार्टेड, यू ऑल आर विनर्स. आप सब फील करोगे कि हम आज जीत के यहाँ से जा रहे हैं. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक्स अ लॉट.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Dr. P.B. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Gurugram, to please address our audience.
First of all, let me express my profound happiness in being with you this morning and to host this very important quiz on financial literacy. People like me, of course, are not very much literate in finance management. Otherwise, I would have been far more richer than what I am. Of course, I'm rich in terms of knowledge, in terms of my capabilities. But when you look at the financial literacy, I was a fool. Even when I was a student in University of Birmingham, I was spending almost everything that I had in my pocket. And when I was coming back after my master's and doctorate degree from University of Birmingham, I went to the bank and asked, whatever remainder, please make a draft in favor of me in Indian rupees. The girl at the counter said, sorry, sir, you have a debt of 100 pounds to pay. Because at that time, you had something like ATM. We had a card in the pocket, we'll go to the market and buy all the goodies which were available in malls and whatnot. My wife was, of course, very fun, very much liking shopping. So we spent more than what we earned. At IIT also, I was a fool, despite the fact that I was doubling my salary as one of the most prosperous professor of IIT, doing international consultancy, doing a whole lot of research and innovations. I got a lot of money, of course, in my bank account, but I could not save much. spent a lot of money, bought a car, and then sold it at not more than 10% of its value at the end. If I would have invested that money into buying a property just outside IIT where your Mr. Uh, Shashi Kishanji comes from the IIT gate, I would have been a rich man today. It could have been 10, maybe 20 crores of rupees or so. Though it was not more than 2 lakhs of rupees. You had to buy a house just outside IIT. So you need to be wiser enough in making investment of what you earn and then invest in the right direction. Merely putting it in bank or buying securities sometimes may not be enough. Maybe at an early age, if you invest that money into something that grows much faster than the money grows in the bank or in securities, things would be different. But it does not undermine the importance of the securities and the banking system that we have today. We need to ensure that our nation grows and grows to great eminence in terms of our economic strength, and we are doing very well as a nation. And yet we have to do much more. Many of you perhaps may not know that the total size of the GDP of India, despite being fourth in the whole world, is still at the level of 4% of the GDP of the world, while we have 17% plus population of the world in our country. And therefore, we need to catch up a lot in terms of accelerating our economy. And there, I think the importance of managing security and financial literacy become very important. I was asking, in fact, Dr. Shiv Sarup Jha last night, what do you mean by financial literacy? People are talking of digital literacy. Earlier, we were talking of A for apple, B for book, and C for cat, and T for dog, and so on, creating literacy in the people, how to read, write, and think. And now we are in the age of digital literacy. So what is financial literacy? Of course, as a professor of commerce, he gave me a lot of tips. But the bare minimum I thought I should say at this point, because we are all restless to see you cruising and scoring high in your quiz. To me, financial literacy is very, very simple. I have a reason to earn and I have a reason to invest and spend. If a person who is financially literate would not only be crying all the time or running towards earning, he would perhaps be thinking, how can I save the wasteful expenditure? Because everything saved on the wasteful expenditure is almost tantamount to what you have earned. And then what you have, if you invest it in the right direction, and if that grows, that also supplement your quest for earning. You would have been running around earning much more here, but you would have earned much more by investing your money in the right direction. And the whole purpose, in fact, of this financial literacy is to ensure that the younger generation understand this game better than what we have understood. And let me finish by saying that we are in an age of uncertainty. No one knows which way the money will grow. Would the financial market grow? Would the capital market grow? Would the commodity market will take us to the right direction? No one knows for certain. We are in the age of uncertainty. And therefore, the financial literacy or financial competence in the age of uncertainty requires much more than what the books of accounts or books of finances will tell you at this stage. Having said this, let me also say that don't forget what they were praying when we were lighting the lamp of light here in our university as a kick-start of your financial quiz finals. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam sukh sampada. The purpose of finances is not just to multiply our bank account or to goodies of our investment. It's also important to live a dignified, happy, and healthy life. And we need to ensure that our financial literacy serves the larger purpose of allowing us to live a dignified human life, which is both happy as well as healthy. And therefore, a lot more is to be seen in that direction. We as a nation are now cruising towards becoming Viksit Bharat. This will require much more than the financial acceleration of the economic strength of the country. We need to create a happy and healthy India of our dream also at the same time. When I grew up, at that time, rich were rich, but take me seriously, poor were no poor. Rich were rich, poor were no poor. both were happy and both were healthy. Look at that time. I'm talking of 1948 when I was born. Rich were rich, poor were no poor, both were happy and both were healthy. Look at today. Rich are super rich, poor of course are poor, both are unhappy and both are unhealthy. And therefore, our financial literacy today requires much more than the agenda we have promised ourselves to become rich. You have to create that kind of India of your dream. Let me extend to you a very warm welcome on behalf of the entire Amity University Gurugram fraternity for giving us this privilege to have you here. We wish to learn from you and also integrate your financial literacy in our courses of finance and business administration and a whole lot of other disciplines that we have here. Let me extend to you a warm welcome on my personal behalf, on behalf of my Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Hasim Chauhanji, and on behalf of the founding fathers of Amity University, who have a mission with a passion and with a commitment to build both the quality of education and also ensure that Mother India become proud of contributions that we make on research and innovation. I stand before you as a Vice Chancellor of a university where I have the quality right. 97.8% employability of my students, both undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate. At the same time, 112 research and development projects aligned to the national missions and goals of my country. 292 patents have been filed by the university, and we are a university leading by example. We are among the top 100 universities of the world where the life on land has been rated for our university at rank number 60 from among 1,500 universities that have participated from around the country. Quality of air is right, quality of water is right, lot of greenery giving us the promise of the beauty and diversity of nature, giving us reason to smile. We have a Gosala in the campus. We have, of course, Ayush Garden in the campus, and a whole lot of beauty that you have in the campus gives you reason to live and learn in harmony with nature. So warm welcome to our campus. Explore the campus beyond your quiz and then enjoy, at least if nothing else, the fresh air. And if you want some fresh milk also, I can also arrange. Dr. A.K. Yadav, my deputy dean, is here. They would be able to arrange some fresh milk of the cow. No university in the country would dare have a Gosala in the campus. Somehow or other they thought campus is only for learning. But for us, campus is inclusive. It does not belong to me or my student or faculty. It belongs to the birds and the cows and the dancing peacocks and the butterflies and a whole lot of species that I have in the campus, including some of the monkeys who must be jumping here and there and asking me why you have not planted more fruity trees. That we are feeling hungry. I will have to give them some bread and butter and whatnot. We are a campus which is an inclusive campus. And thank you so much for giving us this great opportunity.